Hello students, hope you are doing well and also you are studying well during this lockdown. Anyways, so today we'll be discussing about basic file operations in C. So first we'll understand what is the need of files. Okay, so suppose this is your KDevelop IDE screen. One code is written and you are able to execute it. So what happens when you execute? So when you execute this code, you get one output window, and on the output window, if program is asking for some inputs, you provide the inputs and those inputs are processed and the result is there. I mean, the program will give you the result. So this is how the scenario. Now, next time when you execute it again, whatever you had entered in the last execution, that is already erased. So that data is now not available. Okay, so now when you execute for the second time, you get a fresh output window, and in that output window again program will ask you for the inputs. You give some inputs and then that produces the output. So these inputs you execute over the period of times are not recorded. So these data which you enter are not recorded if they are there in the program only till the execution time. Once the execution is over, once you close the output window, this data is no longer available. Okay, so now the need of file is exactly here. If you want to store the inputs which are given in the previous executions, and if you want to store them into one secondary memory like kind of permanent memory, in that case we have to make use of file. So basically a file, it can be a kind of a text file in which you wish to copy the inputs or the produced outputs as well every time you execute the program. So what happens is you can store this file into the permanent memory. Permanent in the sense it is there as long as user do not delete it from the drive. So in this case we require the file. So files is a kind of memory where data is there on the permanent basis, and C program provides you the programming constructs where you can deal with files. You can give inputs from the output screen and paste them into the file, and you can read input from the file and process it and also put it on the output screen. So this is the basic need of file. Okay, so C provides some basic file operations. So starting with, first thing is creating file. So anyways, creating file, along with that, it's a common operation, that is opening file. Then after you have opened file, it is for one particular purpose. So it might be for writing some data to the file. So that operation also counted as the basic operation into file, that is writing data to the file. And also why you are saving this data into the file, because it is required in the future. Okay, so you may want to perform some kind of analysis on the data you have stored onto the file. So in that case you have to read that data from the file. So the third operation, that is reading data or fetching data from the file. And the fourth operation is closing file. So these are the basic operations provided in C. You can create and open the file, use it for putting the data, and once the data is filled into the file, you can use that file to read those data, to perform processing on that data and closing of the file. So these are the basic file operations we are going to cover. Alright, so now first we'll start with the creating. How do you create or open the file? Now in this case we have to make use of a function called as fopen. Okay, now here I am trying to depict, say, your desktop. Hmm? So once you log in into KDevelop, so the first thing you see it's a desktop. Maybe you have here trash, then home as per your name and USN, and okay, at least these things we have on the desktop, and this is your all right. So we have function called as fopen. So the function is like this, fopen. So this function we have to use to create the file as well as opening. So this happens simultaneously. So if the file is already created, then the mentioned file would be opened. If the file is not created, then the mentioned file name with that file name, file will be created automatically at the mentioned path. So now to use this fopen or any kind of these functions, writing to the file, reading from the file, these all functions we require a file pointer. So the file pointer will be declaring using the keyword called as file. And pointer declaration, as we know, it is with star and then F. So this way we declare the file pointer. Then using this file pointer, we can use the fopen function. So what the fopen function, its syntax is like this. So the general syntax of fopen is like this. File path has to be provided along with the mode. So this file path is like, now suppose if you want to store this file onto desktop. So as per your common knowledge, you may be knowing that desktop, downloads, documents, these all folders are in your C drive. So file path you would start like this, C colon and then desktop. This would be my file path. And then, so what? So there are three kind of file modes. So for what purpose you want to open this file? So if you want to open this file to read some data from the file, then we have to open it into read mode. We also have write mode. So write mode in the sense when you want to open the file and you want to use it to write data into the file or to store data into the file, that time we have to open it as into the write mode. Then we have append mode. That is like when you execute the program and write it to the file, then that writes data into the file, and when you execute it for the second time, then it writes the data which is given at the second time to the file, maintaining the first as well. I mean it goes on appending the data every time at the time you give the data to the file. So that is called as the append mode. So we have basically three kind of file modes. Read mode denoted with small r, then we have write mode and append mode. So these three kinds of modes in which we can open the file. Suppose if you want to open this file into the write mode, then you would mention here as W. So this would go as your parameters for fopen and you terminate it with semicolon. Okay. So now here in this path we have to also append the name of the file at the end. Okay, so let me rewrite it. So after this, on desktop, suppose I name it as sample dot txt, and then into the write mode. So now here, and my file pointer f. So this entire statement is like this: f is equals to f open, and then followed with the path at the end, the name of the file, and then the mode of the file, in which mode you want to open the file. So now when this particular statement is executed, what you see on the desktop, it will automatically create a file called as sample.txt. So here you would see the file called as sample.txt. Okay, and if you attempt to open this file by opening this file, so this would open a text document with no information in it. It is just a plain, it's a blank text document. So what fopen does, it creates the file and also opens it into the form of, into the mode in which it is given, and if the file is already existing, then it opens the existing file. Okay, now in this case what happens, if you happen to give the file name which is not same as that of the file which is existing, then it may end up into creating the file. If it matches exactly with the path and file name which is already there, then it will open the same file. Alright, so this is your first function fopen, followed with the path and then opening it and creating and opening it in the specified mode. So now this open file which I have shown, it is not related with this. So this open file you have done manually by clicking, double clicking on this, and then you will see the blank document. So this fopen means this file is now ready to get the content copied into it. So that is the meaning of fopen. So actually meaning of opening is not like you are opening the file. It is like you are making the file ready now to put the content into it, because it is open in the write mode. If you do the same in using R, that means the file is ready to use to put it into the, to get the content from it, that is into the read mode. Okay, then so this way you create the and open the file. Now once you are done with opening the done with writing data into the file, and there is no data left to write into the file, so now the next thing is you have to close that file. So to close the file, we use the function fclose, and then we have to mention the file pointer which is pointing to that file. Now for close fclose, there is, you have to pass only the file pointer which is pointing to one particular file. Okay, so that does not take any other details. So fclose function syntax is very simple: fclose and in the bracket the file pointer. So wherever the file pointer is pointing to any file, that file will be closed. Okay, so now this is a good programming practice. Now why it is required to close the file? So there is a reason. Now for example, suppose you open the file into the write mode and you write data into the file. Now only this much is there in the program and there is no closing of the file. Now what happens, suppose if you execute the same program for the second time, so then there is again fopen function to open the file which is already into the open mode. Which the file which is already open that you are trying to open, so that may cause an error. So it is always a good programming practice. Once you open the file for writing or reading data, then after that purpose is done, that file has to be closed. So for that we'll be using the function fclose. So I think this much is clear for you, that fopen is used to create and open the file or open the existing file. Fclose is used to close the file where file pointer is pointing. Alright? Okay. Now how do you write data to the file and how do you read data from the file? Now that we will discuss. So as we know, these two are your printf and scanf are formatted input output functions. So whatever content you give into the printf, those content or the string appears same on your output screen. So it displays the same thing on the output screen. So it is nothing but indirectly you are writing it to the output screen. Same for scanf, whatever is provided on the output screen, you receive it into some variables and use it for the further processing. So printf is writing it to the output screen, scanf is reading it from the output screen. So to read and write, perform this operation into the file, we have fprintf and we have fscanf. So fprintf is used to write data onto the file and into the file, and fscanf is used to read data from the file. Okay, so now this way we'll be doing. Now in this case, then again the intermediate thing is still same. I mean, we are still using the output screen. Whatever the user is typing on the output screen, that thing we have to put it onto the file. So first thing is to get that whatever is there on the output screen to receive and then put it into the file. So this remains same. So output screen is there. From the output screen we are putting the data onto the file. And same happens when it is about reading as well. So fprintf and fscanf are the functions to write it to the file and read it from the file. We also have function called as getC and putC. So now these two functions are used to read and write. Now getC is used to read a character from the file. So this reads one character at a time, and putC writes one character to the file at a time. Then same thing about getW and putW. Now these two functions are used to specifically write integers to the file or to read integer numbers from the file. So it is only about integers. So getW will read one integer value. Okay, so one integer value from the file, and putW will write one integer value to the file. Okay, now when I say here one integer value, it would be any integer number. It's not a digit. It's one integer, complete integer number you can write to the file or you can read from the file. So in the case of getC and putC, it is only about characters. So using getC, you can write anything to the file which can be stored into the character variable. So when you say getC, it is writing one character to the file, and we will take help of the character variable. So when you take help of the character variable, what all things you can store into the character variable? That is anything from your character set of the C language. It can be letters or digits or special characters or white spaces. So these all things. So now in this case, when you put digits into the form of characters, they don't have the magnitude of the number. So in that case, we have to make use of getW and putW, because it reads integer with its number magnitude and write it to the file, and also put it to the file. So for those numeric data, we have to use getW and putW. So basically getC and putC is exclusively for writing characters or reading characters from the file, and getW and putW are exclusively for writing integers and reading integers from the file. Now what in case if you want to build a file for logically related data items? Now what do you mean by logically related data items? Now in the case, suppose you have USN of a student along with its name. Now there is a relation between that USN and name. That name is of the student who has this particular USN. Then that particular student may have marks in 3 subjects and then average. So this average is related to these 3 marks. So now this group of information, USN, name, marks in 3 subjects and its average. This is one row. or this is one kind of data. Now it is a mixture of USN is character, name is also character, then marks in three subjects could be integers and average could be float. So now here you are trying to deal with different kinds of data. In that case, we are not going to use getC, we are not going to use getW, none of these. We have to use fprintf and fscanf. So it is as good as your formatted input and output, but we are dealing with file, so that time we will use this where you can read or write mixed data from the file, or you can write it to the file. So depending upon the requirement of the program, we will be using these kind of functions. So as of now, you will be having program on each of this to use getC, putC, and also to use getW, putW, as well as fprintf and fscanf. So these are the basic functions we are using to write information to the file and also read information from the file. All right. Okay, now we'll write a small program to create and open a file and write some content to the file. Now in this case, we'll be getting a content from the output screen, and that content will put it into the file. Okay, so your program starts from main. So things we require here, first a file pointer we require which will point to the file, or which will help us to create the file. Okay, so I declare a file pointer. So my file pointer name is fp. Then, so let me first deal with only characters. So I'll take one by one character, and that I go on writing it to the file. So I need a character variable. Say my character variable is ch. So only these two declarations are enough. Okay. So now a simple printf message enter content that to be copied into the file. So this is a simple message. Now this message will be prompted on the output screen. Now after this, user will start entering the data. So that data one by one character I want to put into the file. So first I need to open the file. So in that case we have to use the fopen function. So this is my file pointer fp and then fopen. So here I have to give the path of the file along with the file name at the end, preferably with extension of the file. So say in C drive, desktop, in that I have say file1.txt, which I am opening into the write mode. Alright. Okay. Then after you get it and open it into the write mode, next thing is, now from in output screen I have to get one by one character. So now anyway I have declared a character variable ch. So this takes only it can hold only one character. but user may enter multiple characters on the screen. So we have to use this ch variable to read one by one character. So I have to form a loop in such a way that it will take one by one character. Now we have to also think of what could be the end of the input. If you want to denote the end of the input as new line, or you want to enter only one line, and once you hit the enter key, you may stop the loop. In that case, we will use new line character into the condition. Okay, so let me go with that purpose. So let me start the loop while ch is not equal to new line. So in the first loop or before the loop begins, there is nothing in ch. There is nothing. So that nothing is not equal to new line. Still the condition holds true. So you are still able to enter into the loop. Or otherwise we can replace this loop with do while. Okay, now, so in ch first I will get the character from the output screen, and I want to read only one character. So if you recall, the function which you can use to read one character at a time is getChar. So that reads one character from the output screen. So ch is my variable is equals to getChar. So this reads one character from the output screen, and that is stored into the variable ch. This character I want to put into the file, and for that I'll be using a function called as putc. So this function putc will write one character to the file. So I mentioned the file pointer as well, that is fp, and this variable ch. So fp is already have opened the file1.txt into the write mode, and to that we are writing a character which is stored in ch, which has taken it from the output screen. So this will go into the repetition. So this will go on taking the characters until and unless you don't find new line. Once you find the new line, then you terminate the loop and you come out of it. So this way you copy all the characters from the output screen which your user is typing to the file till the new line character is found. So once you have copied all those things and you have put it into the file, then let me close the file. So this closes the file where I have mentioned the file pointer fp. So this closes the file where fp is pointing to.